That needed fixing because I really believe it just had inadvertently been fallen through a crack. But the rules concerning the VA and dogs talked about CNI dogs would be permitted into health facilities, and some let the other service dogs in, but there was a lot of service men and women that were running into roadblocks for non-CNI dogs, for just service dogs. And in today's world and in our health care today, we know that these animals assist people for other things than just being CNI dogs. And we were getting reports from constituents and others that they were having to leave their dog outside the door because it didn't fall within the regulations. So we decided that this was something that needed fixing. This isn't hard to fix. We know that these dogs are important to the people who have them, and the vets, they need the assistance of these dogs. And so, and being a dog lover myself, and I have plenty of proof to prove that, I wanted to do something about this. And so we've basically reclassified the animals that can come into the VA facilities as service dogs. And these service dogs are legitimately issued to these various veterans for medical purposes, and they should be included. So this bill is really to fix that. And let me give the VA credit. I understand that they have sent out a directive recently maybe as just the last few days, saying to let the other dogs into the facilities, but a directive is not the same as putting it in the law where we can see it done. Directives can always be changed. And so I think this is a good bill. I'm real pleased to have Michelle Bachman here with me. And others have endorsed this, and we've got a handout that'll show you. And we haven't even worked this. I haven't even worked the Texas delegation on it yet. If I don't get all of them on it, there's something wrong with me, okay? So this is a bill that I think we are going to have overwhelming bipartisan support. We've already got plenty of both sides on this bill. And so we should have I would hope a brief period before this is signed into law. I would like at this time to first introduce Christina, is it Roof? Is that the way you say it? Uh-huh. All right, Christina, would you like to come up and say a few words? She's with AMVETS, and then I'm going to let Michelle talk.
Yeah, are you sure? Yes, okay. Please. Okay.
I'm Christina Roof. I'm AMVETS, American Veterans Acting Legislative Director. This has been a long, hard journey for these guys, and so I prepared remarks so I would stay on track for you guys. AMVETS cannot stress enough the importance of this piece of legislation. Our gratitude is immense, along with the gratitude of the entire VSO and veterans community. I had a hard time finding words that would realistically put our gratitude into the right words for what you guys are doing. This is amazing. Your leadership is needed on this. Thank you. Currently, VA regulations exempt service dogs, exempt guide dogs from coming on to VA facilities. So basically, blind veterans utilizing guide dogs may enter VA facilities. However, disabled veterans using service dogs may not bring the service dog into the hospital. And again, while we agree with you and we applaud VA's efforts, just as you said, your piece of legislation is going to close this loophole. Directives can be changed. When it's the law, it's the law. And we believe this bill is going to remove any hurdles to care for our members and the entire veterans community. So again, thank you both for your leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce my colleague, Michelle Bachman. She wants to talk to us about this a little bit too.
Thank you, Judge Carter. You can always count on Judge John Carter of Texas to be the one to lead the way on great legislation. He has a love for our veterans, and he wants to make sure that our veterans are well served. This is a common sense area that we can come to agreement with in a bipartisan way to allow our disabled veterans to have access to their man's best friend as they go into our VAs. I have a VA clinic in my district. We're so thankful for the hospital. We're currently in the process of building a CBOC, a community-based outpatient clinic, and we see how important these service animals are. The reason why they are made available for our veterans because they help the lives of our veterans. Certainly our veterans need these animals when they go into the clinics as well. It makes no sense for them to leave the animal outside. These are man's best friend, and so let's allow our disabled veterans to take man's best friend with them when they go into the clinic as well. It is my honor, my appreciation for the AMVETS, my honor and appreciation to be anywhere I can be alongside Judge John Carter, who has a love for our military servicemen and women, as I share as well. And so I'm thankful that the Veterans Administration is moving forward on this, and I think that making this the law of the land will be in all of our best interests, and certainly on behalf of our veterans who deserve this. So my hat's off to our veterans, to John Carter, and to our veterans. Thank you again.
Thank you, Michelle. We are very pleased to have the people that this is really all about. Two folks that were willing to give up their time. Sue Downs is here with her dog, Lila. Is that right? Sue, you want to say something?
I think I'm going to go for it.
Okay. All right. And then we have Kevin Stone with his dog, Mambo. Kevin, you want to say something?
Sure. Come. Here. Thank you. Mambo, come. Up. Attaboy. Mambo, sit. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Well, thank you, Congressman Carter. Spockman. As a veteran service dog user, I have the experience of knowing what it's like to be denied access to my VA healthcare facility, along with my service dog, Mambo. Mambo and I have a symbiotic relationship. Mambo, heel.
You're like a pretty girl.
Yes, he does. We're independent, obviously, but together, Mambo, sit. Together, we're partners, and he's more than just a partner. He's my prosthesis. To ask me to leave my service dog at home while I go and take care of my VA appointments would be like asking me to leave my wheelchair behind or to leave my cane at home. It's unrealistic and it's unnecessary. And that's not what these guys were trained to do. Mambo, come. Mambo, heel. Mambo, sit. Good boy. Mambo, stay. The current policies for the access for service dogs vary from region to region. The VA acknowledges Mambo as a prosthetic, but it makes no sense for the VA to recognize, it makes no sense for the VA to recognize and legitimize the services of that Mambo provides and then yet deny him the access to my health care. The VA already has an infrastructure and policies in place that accommodate guide dogs in all VA centers. So we're not asking the VA to take any extra steps or spend any extra costs. Mambo, stay. We're just simply asking for equal access to our medical facilities with our service animals. Oh, he come beside me. Good boy. And we're asking the VA to close a loophole that's outdated. That's an outdated policy by including service dogs, the name service dogs, within their access policy. The benefit of a national policy, as this bill that Congressman Carter is providing suggests, is to ensure that all veterans with service dogs have uniform access to all VA medical centers across the country, allowing us to fully receive all aspects of our needed medical care, inpatient as well as outpatient. I would like to thank Congressman Carter and all of the bill's co-sponsors, AMVETS and Pause with a Cause, for supporting veterans with service dogs in every degree, and for our access to continue to be provided the best medical care that we can in all of our VA centers. Congressman, thank you.
Thank you for bringing
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Kevin. Thank you.
And Kevin and Sue, they're really what this little press conference is all about, because it's really about our veterans and these animals that help assist our veterans. Did you want to say something?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do you want assistance? Thank you. I would also like to Congressman Carter for allowing this very important piece of legislation to go through. I've also been denied access to a VA administration, but they got to an understanding where they actually let me in. So I guess it all depends on who you see at the VA, if they let you in or not. So I think it's very important that this is put down into words that they can actually read and see that, you know, we're allowed in. I'm a double amputee. I have prosthetic legs. So for them to say that Lila, they acknowledge Lila that, you know, she's a piece of prosthetic device for me now. So if they don't allow her, so why allow my legs too? You know, so I do agree that they should allow the dogs also. They're a very important role. So thank you.
That's great.
Thank you very much, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here. Both of you, thank you very much for being out here.
It's our pleasure.
You both got nice dogs. I happen to own a yellow lab and a chocolate lab and a Saint Bernard and 2 pugs and a Boston Terrier. So when I say I'm a dog guy, I'm a dog guy, okay? At one time, my wife and I owned 14 dogs. That's why I'm so poor. And let me finish this by saying, you know, I'm very blessed to be co-chair of the Army Caucus. I get to deal with the best people in the country, those who serve our country in the armed services, and I have the largest Army post on the earth in my district, and I'm very proud of each and every one of both our veterans and our men and women in uniform. And I want to make it very clear also that we're not criticizing the Veterans Administration. We're trying to help them have a clear directive that's not only a directive, but it's set in the law, and recognize the service of these service dogs to the men and women of our country who have disabilities that require them. They are a blessing to these veterans, and honestly, they're a blessing to each and every one of us. I want to thank the service groups for being here to stand up and support this bill. I will tell you, I'm going to be extremely surprised if we don't get everybody in the Congress to sign on to this bill, because it is a good bill. It does a good deed, and good deeds are hard to come by sometimes in Washington. I'll answer any questions you might have.
Congressman, you said you don't expect there to be much opposition. What about from the VA? Do you think it's going to be tough to convince them to go?
Actually, I do not think it's going to be a problem for the VA. The fact that the VA, and I've talked to General Shinseki and find him to be a real champion of the veterans. The fact that the directive came out is probably the result of a conversation, and this is in no way critical of the VA. The VA is doing the best that they can, and they're doing the right thing. I just think that it is just solidifying a good policy by putting it in the law.
Do you have any idea on timing? Have you talked to your fellow leaders about moving this, or?
I haven't talked to them yet, but I plan on trying to move it very quickly, and I don't see why we shouldn't. I haven't even, to be very honest with you, I haven't even started working the floor. We already got 33 co-sponsors, and they're about almost evenly split between Republicans and Democrats. And very honestly, I have not worked the Texas delegation. I should have done it today at lunch, but I'll get all the Texas delegation on it. So we will have a good list of co-sponsors. I think it's a bill that'll warm people's heart when it's over with, and make people feel glad they're Americans. Anybody else? Thank you for being out here. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.